No Man's Sky patch 3.71 is live on PC and releasing to console as this video goes live, featuring a huge array of fixes to building, settlements, everyday quality of life and more. So let's get right to the patch notes. Fixed a number of rare instances where settlement buildings were not properly constructed. This is a very vague start. I have no idea what this is specifically referring to. Fixed a rare issue where a construction terminal would not be placed on a settlement building site. Fixed an issue that could cause grass to spawn within settlement buildings. Fixed an issue that could allow players to edit terrain within settlements in rare circumstances. Fixed an issue that could cause settlements not to align correctly with the terrain, for example after the terrain had been edited. I wonder if this means that altering the terrain a settlement building is on will alter its height. This could be really interesting for making super high buildings or sunken out of the basic settlement buildings, though of course be careful with terrain editing. It is a janky business that often reverts and not always completely. Fixed a number of base parts that were incorrectly set as able to change material or colour without having textures that support it. Base building wiring mode now shows only relevant building options and keeps a control bar to the top of the screen. This did affect the new ultimate scale glitch, though I believe it is still very usable. Check out Bebopon for your glitch building tips. He has covered most known glitches and frontiers extremely well. Placing wires is now more responsive and does not fade out the wiring snap points. Fixed a general issue that could cause base parts to delete other nearby parts when selected for deletion. Fixed a snapping issue with wall screens. Fixed an issue that prevented ramps from editing terrain when placed. Building part snap points are now smaller when away from the centre of the screen and grow when pointed at. Fixed an issue with moon pole legs. Fixed a number of snapping issues with small triangle base parts. This is great, they pretty much didn't snap to anything before, and now they are mostly fixed. Fixed a collision issue with pressure pads. Fixed an issue that could cause base part snap points to display in the wrong position. Fixed a snapping issue when connecting cuboid rooms to vertical corridors. Fixed a snapping issue when stacking cuboid rooms. Fixed an issue that could cause large rooms to hide their roofs when placing technology such as solar panels on top of them. Fixed an issue that prevented large rooms from correctly carving terrain when placed. Fixed a number of issues where the player would get snagged on object or terrain physics. Fixed an issue that could cause particle effects to be cleared up too early, clipping the effect. Fixed an issue that caused players to hover above chairs when sitting. Please say this is properly fixed this time, my poor little gecko legs barely touch the ground when seated as is. Fixed an issue that caused text to instantly print out rather than type out in the final box for multi-sequence piece of dialogue. Fixed an issue that could cause incorrect collision on trees and other large plants. Introduced a message to inform users when they are unable to connect to matchmaking because they have been banned. This is interesting. Is this banned by, say, the platform or HG themselves? As far as I know, we haven't really seen any evidence of actual banning by HG. But maybe they do. Fixed a number of text and description issues in the Quicksilver shop. Fixed an issue that caused the secondary hazard warning bar to appear misaligned on the HUD. Fixed an issue that caused hover detection to be incorrect on the title screen in some resolutions. Fixed a number of creature spawning issues that made it harder than intended to find rare creatures. Fixed an issue that prevented underwater corridors from correctly carving terrain when placed. SANDWORM companions now correctly speak using untranslatable horrific text. This should be interesting. I just finished the expedition last night, looking forward to the hell speak of my worm. Fixed a rare crash on shutdown. Introduced a number of systemic improvements and optimizations to particle effect rendering. Introduced an optimization to improve the speed at which settlement buildings are loaded and placed. Introduced a number of rendering optimizations. Introduced a number of base building optimizations. Introduced a number of physics optimizations. Optimizations are always good, especially for base building. Fixed an issue that prevented expedition reward objects from being built on freighter bases. Fixed an issue that prevented change active multi-tool from being bound to a hotkey. Fixed a collision issue with hanging lights. Fixed an issue that caused floor tiles to fail to carve out the terrain correctly. An option has been added to the controls option page to change the strength of effects that shake the camera. Clearly I wasn't the only one who was getting strained eyes from the sheer frequency of camera shakes from the Titan worms during the expedition. It was the only part of the expedition that was actually getting to me a little. Real nice touch adding this option. Fixed a number of visual glitches in the exosuit initialization process that occurs when starting a new game. Fixed an issue that caused biological horrors to incorrectly launch pounce attacks over long distances. Very nice. Horrors had definitely been buffed and were absolutely lethal. I actually liked that they were buffed, as you shouldn't be able to take a bunch of hits, you should be doing everything in your power to avoid getting hit at all, so it being tricky to avoid death after 1 to 2 hits is good, though the insane distance leaping bug was annoying, so certainly worth a fix. The expedition milestone, Their Scent Remains, will now make use of the target sweep if any nearby eggs are detected. Fixed a collision issue with the alloy inner corner roof parts. Fixed a very rare UI crash. That is your lot, folks. Hopefully the main issue that has been annoying you is in there. Be sure to check out the Xaine's World merch store, where I've just released 2 new designs. The Gek Panda Unmasked design that is super colourful and features Gek Panda in just an adorable little hoodie, and the secret handshake that says "Shadaisy to you" to any fellow Xaine's World or No Man's Sky enthusiast, while keeping the rest of the world thinking you just like cool symbols. Like, share and have a fantastic day, folks.